What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the TI Junkies podcast. My name is Henry, and we have a mammoth of an episode for you today. We're going to be talking all about the Alliance game variant, which will be featured in the new episode of TI Junkies dropping this weekend. But that's not all we got for you. We have had such a good time so far with Stooge for the Throne 2, our online tournament, that we are ready to roll into another TI Junkies sanctioned event. You heard it here first, folks. Get hype. We are hosting an online Alliance tournament. We're going to open early signups next Monday, June 30th for our Patreon members, and we'll be releasing all the dates and details at that time as well. There are just 18 seats in this tournament, and several TI Junkies teams are going to be participating, so if you're interested, please get in there, sign up, join in on the fun. We would love to have you. But first, before we talk alliances, let's bring in Rand, the featured junkie of this past weekend's Stooge for the Throne tournament game, to talk about how it went. What's up, Rand? How did Game 6 treat you?
So well. Victory as the Winnu.
The Winnu, in a rare showing, are not the loser today. And I will say that me and probably a lot of other Rand fans, our hearts dropped for just a little bit when you chose Winnu. So bring us into it. How'd the game start for you?
It started with a hungry rift roll. I did not get Custodians round 1, but unfortunately that luck turned around pretty instantly, because round 2, no one else was within range of Mechatol. I was able to grab Imperial and rift it to Mechatol, getting Custodians and that Imperial point in round 2, which felt good. I also was able to make up for all the lack of scoring in round 1. Luckily, it was a structure objective to start with, so getting Mechatol gave me 2 additional structures that counted, and I was able to catch up that way.
Yeah, it was actually really funny to see round 1, you bust her out, and then round 2, it's like, all right, we're just doing it again. No one's there. No one's on Schmeckatol. And from there, it was a pretty quick game.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, I held Mechatol all game without even building on it once. It was just the original infantry that I lost space combat there, but no one ever took the ground. I guess no one loves those Imperial points the way I do. I don't know.
What do you think was different? I feel like a lot of the times you play Winnu, you get hungry, you grab those points, and you pick up a lot of heat. Do you feel like you had less heat this game, or maybe the players weren't as equipped to apply the heat to you? What was the heat factor?
I think the other starting objective of 2 techs and 2 colors actually worked out for me, because it kind of meant that blue techs and gravity drive were late to the table. In fact, my Nalu neighbor, who I ended up swapping supports with, never got gravity drive all game. So that kind of limited who was able to come attack me, because light wave was also limited until that very last round. But also I had no wormholes in my area, which was great. I remembered looking over at Mahak and being like, they are one of the factions that could absolutely stomp me right now, but they actually just have no path to my home unless they were to clear way and rift it, which is just a lot.
That is a lot.
That, I think, combined with the Mechatol Desert and the map build, it just happened so that there were no planets adjacent to Mechatol. And so the rift was my bridge, and no one else really had a base there, and so they really would have had to go out of their way to bring a force to Mechatol.
So you were saying the 2 tech and 2 colors meant that the factions that started with non-blue tech were delayed in going into the blue tree.
Potentially. I felt like, round 2, looking at the table, being like, not only can I go for Custodians, but I can take Imperial and go for it on the 8. That means that it's possible. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe someone tech gravity drive that round, but it could have been a round 3 Custodians if the Rift said, not now, not yet.
Yeah, I do want to tell people that you racked up, I believe, 3 points from Custodians and 2 Imperial points. Is that right?
Yes, including my hero, and I got a mutiny point, which was on, everyone. I was pretty late in order, but everyone wanted the mutiny point, and so we got it.
Everyone was greedy for points. So this was a round 4 win, where basically all your critical plays came on your first turn, and then you just passed and you were chilling for about an hour or so. What happened there?
So going into the agenda phase before that, the second agenda was Galactic Crisis Pact, and luckily Imperial went through, which was what I needed because my secret in hand were not really scoreable. I had last to pass, and I did have 3 laws in play. We had no laws in play, and I just never had the economy to be nearly the last person to pass. I almost got it in an earlier round and wondered if I'd tanked my whole game by not finding the extra mile. But Galactic Crisis Pact led me to drawing the action phase secret that I needed to have scored 3 objectives to unlock my hero. So I hadn't even had my hero unlocked going into round 4, which is wild.
And that secret was?
It was Brave the Void, one of the only things I could score because I myself didn't have any blue tech at this point. So I scored Brave the Void, flipped my hero, master planned, popped it, got that Mechatol point and a public spendy, and that put me at 9, with 5 trade goods and the 1-pointer on lock in status.
It's funny, the Grav Rift opened up with, smacking you down a little bit, but actually then it brought you many gifts because you still got Custodians off of it, and then the 7th player granted you Brave the Void, and the Grav Rift was right there in your slice, ready for that secret, because there were not a lot of action phase secrets that you would have been able to score easily.
Yeah, actually, the Grav Rift gave me heart palpitations in the draft, because that was actually in my bag along with Winnu, and the vision started for the second I opened my bag. It's always scary with the Rift. The Rift can be hungry, and it was hungry, but ultimately, after I stooged for the Rift round 1, the Rift stooged for me all game long, so I'm happy with that arrangement.
Yeah, for all of you out there with high blood pressure, I'm sure your doctor is talking to you about your diet, but are they talking to you about whether or not a Grav Rift is in your slice?
If not, find another doctor.
Dr. Schmecketal.
But yeah, it was a great game, super fun. Winnu win, feels good in the heart, feels good in the soul, makes me really happy. And everyone I played with was absolutely spectacular and splendid, and it was such a fun table with a very, very epic attempt at the Winsley in the end. I mean, Necro came in with the new X89 and, just Ether Stream and Agency Supply Network, and the whole last round had been building up to this attack on the Winnu home system. But luckily, I had the new Maggin, which really, really helped because I had 3 structures at home, and it was the dice in the end, and the dice said, congrats, Winnu.
Yeah, actually, I think it was really cool that in the attempted Winsley of you, we got to see the new X89 versus the new Magen right away.
It's true. And I only had Plasma, Magen, and Sarween all game. Those were my 3 techs. I started with Sarween, which is an odd choice for me as Winnu. I usually like to go blue, but I felt like I wanted to really focus on plastic at home, and I think my tech choices helped with that.
That was what I was going to ask you about also, was the interesting Sarween choice. But that makes sense also if you're playing the Winnu, who you know are going to have the table heat, who people are going to put the crunch on.
I kind of knew I wanted to get Magen, and I knew I wanted PDS2, even though I never got that far. But that would have been my next tech.
Yeah.
Or predictive for the 2 techs, 2 colors, in which case I would have went down to 0 fleet to try and score last to pass, because I wasn't sure if Nalu was going to win on the 0. I only won on the 2 because Nalu did not win on the 0.
The last thing I'll say about that Winsley with the new X89 was that I believe Necro brought just 4 ground forces, but because of X89, they hit 6 hits.
Yep, and if I didn't get 3 bonus infantry from my tech, that would have been GG's for the table. It would have been round 5.
That's so true, because you had 6 guys there and then added 3, and they got 6 hits, so wow.
Yep.
Wow. All right, well, Rand, congrats on the win. Super awesome. Also, super glad that you got to have Schmecketal, have Winnu. It was like a Rand dream game in a lot of ways.
It really was.
But not without its emotional twists and turns for your path to victory. But yeah, congratulations, and we're super excited to see you in the final.
I am very excited to be playing alongside fellow junkies, 4 junkies at the table. And mind you, even Ruthless and Carnal have appeared on the TI Junkies YouTube, so it is fun that it is all of us at the table. It's going to be a wild ride. So tune back in a few weeks for the Stooge for the Throne 2 final. Alright, so the Alliance game variant is basically an optional spin on the rule set of TI, which turns it from a singles game, where it's every player for themselves, into a teams game, which is playable with 4, 6, or 8 players.
So for the totally uninitiated, let's just run over some of the key rules to Alliance mode. There is a full longer list online on the wiki and in Codex 2 if you'd like to check it out, but we're just going to hit the key points here.
Basically, you have a teammate who sits across the table from you, and you're still going for points, but one of the first big twists is that one person on the team has to get to 14, while the other just has to get to 10.
Also, you and your teammate each start with each other's commander ability, and everyone's commander is unlocked from the outset of the game. This is already an interesting wrinkle for factions that can have a little bit of trouble unlocking their commander, or factions whose commanders really change the way they interact with the game. Like for me personally, I love playing Sardak, and the fact that in Alliance mode, I don't have to get 5 non-home planets to start gamma mamaing and planet hopping all over the board is amazing, and I actually probably prefer Sardak in Alliance for that reason.
So you and your teammate can place units or structures on each other's planets and are actually able to transfer control of planets anytime one of you rearranges command tokens. So that's status phase, primary of warfare, predictive intelligence, anything like that.
Provided you have at least one unit on that planet that your teammate is trying to give to you. Already you can probably guess this provides a sly little avenue to help each other score control objectives, and then there's also room to start pulling shenanigans where you guys pass Mechatol to one another and try and pile drive some Imperial points before anyone else stops you.
The best kind of shenanigans. And the last big rule, which is super spicy and juicy, is that you can have co-activations. So when your teammate activates a system, you can join in on that action by placing one of your tactical tokens there. So you can have space combats with 4 different players' units, which is really epic and can lead to much larger scale combats than in a regular game of TI.
Yeah, so if you still only have a meager 3 fleet supply, fear not, because you could co-activate with your teammate who has 4 fleet supply, and all of a sudden there's 7 ships fighting on your behalf in one combat. Again, the full rule set is in Codex 2 and on the TI Wiki. Give it a read if you're thinking of trying out Alliance mode, or perhaps joining in on our tournament and want to get into the nitty-gritty.
And we're not going to get too deep into the rules on this podcast, but we will dive deeper into them next week.
So in summary, you're still pursuing objectives for points, you'll still have your own units and structures and all of that, but you and your teammate can make use of each other's abilities, planets, and at times carry out actions together on your way to scoring 14 points and 10 points. So we've done a few Alliance games on the TI Junkies series, and I think we can agree each one has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. One of our favorite types of game days as a group, for sure.
I really love Alliance mode. All the special mechanics and extra rules are super cool, but I would still actually play Alliances if it was literally just 2 players pooling their points together with mostly normal TI. A normal game of TI is such a marathon, and you can build alliances in the game, and you can have people you trust. But really, at the end of the day, you're the only one looking out for you, and you're never 100% sure if you can trust everyone. I just really enjoy the fun of conspiring with a buddy and getting to share the excitement about plans or hosing people or dreaming of big scenarios of eating people's slices in the confessional room, but then actually just being a sweet cherub boat floater out at the table. In Alliances, you have someone in your corner no matter what. And I've also always loved co-op in video games, so it makes sense that I would love the TI Alliance variant. And it's honestly like, sometimes your game of TI can go really poorly, and that can happen in Alliances too, but it's kind of more fun to have company when your game is going terribly.
Yeah, actually, I remember in the second TI Junkies Alliance game, Attack of the Stooges, I teamed with Nikki and spent 4 rounds scoring 0 objectives. Literally 0. I got to 1 point, and that was a support. Guess how many points I have? 1.
And what's that one from, Ray?
It's a Nathan support. I have not scored a single objective, public or secret.
And that was our goal, was to get her into a hero as soon as possible.
Yeah. And hopefully the agenda phase can eventually give us some points.
Yes, I'm hoping
to make up for this joke.
Yeah.
This joke.
Let's go laugh.
And cry. Yeah, it is nice to have a teammate to both laugh and cry with. In that game, we were the extra necro combo, which is a very potent combination. We'll circle back to that later.
But on the other hand, Rand, I think there are also times where your teammate can become a little bit of a liability, someone you have to wrangle. Isn't that right?
Something tells me you might be talking about the time I was on Team Scum Triads.
Yeah, for Nathan's birthday, that was Season 2, Episode 7, you and Nathan played Hakan and Mentak. And let's just say, at the beginning of the game, you guys were actually pretty excited about both your team name and your chances of winning.
I'm playing the Emirates of Nathan today.
And I am back to my roots with the Mentak.
Ooh,
So we are going to be
so much money. Get ready.
scumming it up.
Get ready for the scummiest game you've ever seen. If you thought there was salt before, oh, there's gonna be a salt mine. We're the scum triad.
3 of us, me, Nathan,
And the Stooge.
the Stooge.
Comment below who you think the Stooge is gonna be on our team.
If just one.
It could be a Patrick. It could be a
Be a
Speedy.
Speedy. What you were saying earlier, Henry, about like having that one person on your side, this was an alliance game where the team imploded from within, and my worst enemy was my teammate. Love you, Nathan.
It's true, our boy got progressively more unhinged as the game went on.
We're not gonna win unless we deal with him. That's the only problem.
I don't think that's true. Focus on the points. See what you need, and just focus on those. Forget about the planets and the plastic.
I guess.
I don't think anyone's trying to stop your win right now.
Yeah.
But
Nick
you
is-
think there's a lot more eyes on you than there actually are.
There are. Well, after what Patrick did, activate my home system
Yeah.
for no fuck. Even after we swapped supports.
Yeah. Well, Patrick
So scummy.
Patrick wanted to assault cannon your war son, and that was not cool. But I think you're in the clear, and you definitely have the plastic to deter people.
I was gonna attack.
So
him.
focus on the points.
All right. I'm gonna get this twofer, and then I'm gonna attack his home
We
system.
still have a chance if Nathan focuses on the points.
I'm gonna attack his home system.
It seems like that might have been the best thing you could have done, Patrick, was make that mistake. And not actually have to fight. You didn't have to lose a single ship. You didn't have to lose a single ship, and Nathan has been scared since.
I would have done more if I could, but my home system was under threat the entire game by Patrick. He's like, oh, I've got.
I don't
ships.
think it was actually under threat. Nathan, you get into this loop sometimes where you think everyone's coming after you when they're not.
It was sad. The communication broke down on team Scum.
I feel like you're throwing the game.
I mean, it's already over.
No, it's not. Alright, go for it. It's over if you say it. Definitely nothing we can do if it's over to you.
I mean, I feel like.
That's
Speedy-
fine, Nathan, do it. Just do it. Poor Rand leaning across the table going, no,
Yeah.
don't do that. Or
Yeah.
why are you doing that?
That's true.
Rand straight up walked out. Well, first she had to take a minute.
Yeah.
And then she walked out of the room.
Activate. Home system.
Step 1, you lose a point. Nice job.
There you go.
Okay.
Knock me down.
So now Nathan's at 7.
There was no way for him to get to 10
he
that
made
round,
it
even
so
if
that
Rand.
they could not win no matter what.
Yeah, even if Rand made it to 14.
Happy birthday, Nathan.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I mean, they got their point anyway, so we wouldn't
Yeah.
have won, but
Next time, y'all.
next time. Well, Team Scum Triad was...
That was fun.
we tried really
You
hard.
scummed it up pretty good.
We did, but...
Mostly Rand. I would have liked to do more scummy stuff, but if
yeah,
I
you were
would've-
not scummy enough.
I did betray Patrick in one deal. I think I didn't fully pay him. I said I'd pay him 3 now and 3 on the next turn, and I never did. I think I spent those on a war sword.
I hope you had some fun on your birthday then, Nathan.
The kick was good.
I had fun teaming with you.
Yeah.
Even though the odds in the universe was against
The
us.
universe, the
Th-
players,
That's
the
thing.
fans,
The fans are not against us.
the YouTube algorithm.
Comment below, as Nathan would say, if you are not against us. We would love to have you on Team Scum Triad one day. What a time. What a time.
All right, so let's talk about some classic Alliance faction combos. So these are going to be pairings of factions that have maybe complementary commander abilities or other mechanics that sort of gel well together. The first one that comes to mind for me is Argent Flight and Universities of Jolnar, which is actually the team that Rand and I played together in the very first TI Junkies Alliance game.
Let's go Team Hand.
With this combo, I mean, you get rerolls on unit abilities, you get extra dice on unit abilities, and those are also factions that already start with plasma scoring, so it's just like PDS, AFB, devastation.
I'm space cannoning.
Nathan was thinking about moving into Mechatol, but we straight up intimidated him by just rattling our space cannon dice.
Nathan, I got you.
We would have had 7 shots plus rerolls
On
because of
all
our
of them.
commander ability, so that definitely deterred him.
Yeah, that shut him down. These are my space cannon. Rand's shaking her space cannon too. Hopefully whoever moves in is not going to have enough to survive that onslaught. I feel like playing as this combo with the right PDS network setup can just make you feel so invincible. and playing against it can sometimes make you feel kind of helpless.
Yeah, the PDS situation for that duo is absolutely unhinged, and really lots of PDS factions pair well together for this reason. Another faction combo that comes to my mind is the one I mentioned earlier, the extra Necro combo. And that is because Necro gets the ability to vote in the agenda phase now, which, cancels out one of their biggest weaknesses.
Yeah, it's so scary, not only because they get to vote, but the extra commander beefs up their vote. Between those two factions, you can really sway the agenda phase, get Necro the tech that maybe in a singles game they aren't able to always grab. And also, they're just two very beefy factions on their own, which is never really a bad thing in Alliance mode, even if you didn't have that cool combination of faction abilities.
I mean, that duo is so potent. Nikki and I actually won that game.
You had a huge comeback.
From 1 point to victory.
Yeah.
Another iconic combo, and this is something I strive for every time I play Yin if there's a Nomad player in the game. The Nomad-Yin synergy.
You can just pop that Yin flagship out, send it to death and doom and destruction.
Free vans all day, every day. I love it. It's my favorite. There's also a lot of different combinations you can see with ground force factions.
I remember when Nathan and I teamed together in Attack of the Stooges, we did Sardak Yin. I just love that team combo. You become planet-hopping indoctrinators. But also that Yin commander is meant to sort of shore up on tech paths, which Sardak can make great use of, I think.
So juicy.
Nathan and I were the tennis boys that game. We'll talk about our classic TI Junkies teams later, but we definitely famously fumbled a sizable lead and I think crashed out at 13 and 10 points, just shy of that 14th point we needed to win.
So that's a great faction combo. Throw Soul in there, throw Arboric in there. All just the ground games would be wild.
His commander ability couples well with my indoctrination. We're never
Who's the threat?
The threat is Yin Soul. Because
Yeah.
here's the crazy thing about Yin Soul in Alliance games, folks. If you land with 2 infantry and the Yin has 1 infantry,
anytime he's in a ground combat, I can just go, oh, guess what? I'm here too.
they get an extra 1 from the Soul Commander, and then they indoctrinate you. So you had a 2v1, and it becomes them with a 3v1.
And guess what? One of your guys is now.
And that's the other public objective, is to take 6 non-home planets. We got the ground game. We got the ground game.
We're gonna be down here.
Nobody's
Up here,
taking shit
who worry
from
about
us.
that? We're down here.
We're down here. Let them fight it out up there.
It's nice. It's fun to see. I love it.
A very flashy faction combo would be the Winu and the Nalu.
Yeah, you and Kara played this one.
It was the time of our lives. We won that game so gloriously. What I love about the Nalu-Winu combo is the Nalu agent helping Winu get custodians is amazing, but then also being able to have a Nalu fleet on there that has access to the Winu commander is just like, custodians and Imperial points all game. I mean, if you wanted to hold it, no one could take that from you.
Yeah, I remember in that game, actually, people were kind of sleeping on you guys.
Okay, get ready.
Team Wiggin out.
Ayo!
Here we are.
In the house. They just assumed that I was the weak one,
Yeah.
which they were wrong.
And then they were extorting you and then refused to be extorted back for that.
Every time. They're so distracted with the noise.
Yeah, just fly
Yeah.
under the radar.
And then be like, whoop whoop, we got another. We won, oops. We got 5 points. Sorry.
Man, it is tight out there.
Yeah, it's a close game. Very close. I think Rand and Kara are up by like 1 point, because Kara scored 2 of the 2-pointers last round.
I feel like everybody's sleeping on it. And by everybody, I mean us 2, and then the other 2.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on. If everything goes perfectly, we can win this round.
Okay.
If I can get a flagship into Kevin's home system,
Okay.
and it survived till the end of the round, which I can do because look, my mechs, their ability, if you take a planet, I can get a space dock there. And then I can use Sling Relay, which is a tech that lets me produce a ship. So I can literally produce my flagship from within the home system after I take it, if I have a mech. If my flagship's there, and I'm last to pass, I can score that, and then score my other secret, because that's status phase, and that's 14 points. Can you, with the agent, gear for a co-attack in Kevin's home system? Because if your stuff is there and we take the ground, then I think we're safe.
I think so.
Then this is what we gotta try. That crazy plan last time, that just happened.
We did it. Wiggin' Out Girls did it.
Oh my god, Wiggin' out.
This damn close.
This close. 1 command token off.
This
had I spent my command token, we're still playing this game.
We're still playing this game. Actually, I think we win.
I pass.
Pass. Lost the pass.
Bump me up, please.
Came down to the last command token. I had no more moves.
I saw that.
I had to pass. Kevin had one more tactic and they were deliberating, oh, should I do something? No, save it. Pass. And that gave us the win.
We mind blown everyone. It was amazing.
No one saw it coming. People were confused because they were like, your flagship's not there. Why are you taking Patrick's home system? And I was like, you guys just need to wait.
Just wait and see it out.
And they did, and they saw.
That's my first TI Junkies win.
Congrats.
Thank you.
And not the last.
No, not the last.
Not the last. That was beautiful.
It was just classic boy drama. We all think we're the main character. We didn't even know how you were going to win in the end.
Oh yes, that was a very swaggy win in the end where I snagged Patrick's home system and people were confused why I did that because I didn't bring a flagship, but I brought the Winu mech and put down a dock and slung a flagship for those final points, and that was a smooth Winu game.
There's definitely style points for that one. I don't think there's been another time I've seen someone score flagship in another person's home in that manner.
Other faction duos, Hakan Yssarl, the action card trading game, Unhinged, Hakan Mentak, which was the Scum Triad, Make Them Deals, skim a little off the top.
Those are some of the most iconic factions to us. Comment below what the most iconic Alliance factions are to you or at your table, in your community. We want to hear about it. There are some combinations I've never done before in Alliance mode, but I would love to try, maybe in this upcoming Alliance tournament. I've been keen to try the L1Z1X Letnev Alliance, a sort of dreadnought duo bombarding through planetary shield, getting trade goods for sustaining. And another one that seems like it would be iconic to me is Necro Jolnar. But we have actually never tried it at the TI Junkies table. I just imagine Jolnar being Baby Yssarl because they have Neural Motivator. They'll have that Necro Commander to get even more action cards. But also, I love the idea of Jolnar selling research agreement to the Necro neighbors that their alliance partner wants to steal from them. So maybe you're souping your opponent up a little bit with research agreement, but you could also be souping up your teammate Necro at the same time. So it just seems like it would be a crazy formidable team come late game.
A combo I would love to try is actually Mentak and Empyrean, especially if you go Void Watch, because that could be Promissory Note Palooza. Both players have access to the Mentak commander, so on each combat win, you get a promissory note. And then on the defense as well, for Void Watch, you'd be getting a promissory note. So I feel like you could really fish other people's promissory notes with that combo.
I also imagine that with the Empyrean commander, where you can lift tokens when people send ships at you, if you kind of come out guns blazing to get people's promissory notes and then they have to retaliate to take back their slice, all of a sudden you're lifting your tokens and you can go back in to try and get even more promissory notes from them.
Really an unexpected combo to have such an aggressive route.
And those are already two rich factions, so I mean, scooping up a bunch of trade agreements, I feel like you could really rake up the dough.
Oh yeah, Dark Pact is basically just the Mentak village payment. So we could really talk about faction duos for 5 million years. There's just so many interesting ways that two factions could work together to just bring about very new and exciting board states. But let's talk a little bit more about the above-board social dynamics that come with an Alliance game. A very common one we've seen in our games is the good cop, bad cop dynamic. And that's where one teammate is making the aggressive, feather-ruffling moves, and the other teammate is making more favorable deals and trying to, clean up the mess.
Yeah, in the Alliance game that you and Kara won, I actually remember talking with Patrick about how Nathan was so paranoid about giving me good deals that he was making Patrick's deals extra expensive. And then Kevin, who was teaming with Nathan, talked about how since there is sort of salt on Nathan at the table, the deals should be funneled through Kevin instead.
All of our deals are extra expensive.
Oh.
Because I'm on Patrick's team, so now Nathan really doesn't want to make any normal deal. He was like, X-1, no, that's too much value. Yeah.
I thought
Henry's
we'd be
on
fine.
your team, that's too much value.
I thought we'd be fine because usually Nathan and I are cool until he stabs me in the back. No.
He's so afraid. He's so afraid of me winning a game that he doesn't want to give you any
Holy
deals.
cow. He wakes up in the middle of the night and he's like, oh, Henry's under my bed.
That's true. And I am. I am under his bed.
I'm too controversial to hide.
Well, that's also why I think we got to use me as the deal tax shelter here.
Yeah.
And funnel deals out of me.
Because Henry will fundamentally overcharge me for every deal. Just because.
I mean, Patrick was pissed, but then somehow the fact that we made the deal to go. That it was perfect. Everything's
It worked out.
keeping people happy.
Henry pointed out some that was good logic as far as like how it wasn't a very fair trade. Nathan went around and replenished everybody else except for us.
Oh yeah, he skipped me. He was like, all right, Kevin, blah, blah, blah. His finger passes over Henry's seat.
Doesn't even
Kara.
stop. Yeah, just whoop right over there.
Yeah, and it's just fun to see how if you're playing with the same group in normal TI all the time, the dynamics change when people are working together and when maybe you're teaming with someone that you normally have beef with, or when someone you have beef with is on another team. And I think there's such a fun spin to the vibe of your table if you end up on an alliance team with someone that you are normally hosing or giving a lot of grief or attacking their home system. Case in point, when Nathan and I teamed in Attack of the Stooges.
You know, spoiler alert, if you team with Nathan in Alliance, you're probably gonna be the good cop. So another part of the above table dynamic that is so unique and special to the Alliance mode is, for lack of a better term, team spirit.
Yeah, team spirit is what it is.
Including the upcoming episode of TI Junkies, we've had 5 Alliance games on the show. And each of these games has brought such a unique and iconic duo to our personal lore. We had, as mentioned, Team Hand.
That was me and Rand.
Which, you know, is a duo that exists in some sense or another to this very day. We had the Business Boys, Patrick and Nathan, wearing their collared shirts and fancy business clothes.
That's also when we all started saying as a table that a planet was open for biz. If there were no units on it, because at one point Mechatol was open for biz.
We had the Noob Team, which was funny because it was just a bunch of experienced players, and the comedy was, let's put the 2 new people together and see what happens.
They did okay.
We had the Tennis Boys, we had the Buff Nerds, we had the Scum Triad, also went by Scumbag Money at some point. We had the Dirt Boys, when you and Speedy played the Arborek Sardak combo. The Drama Boys, who were dressed up in a different costume each confessional, wigging out me and Kara in our purple wigs. I mean, Team Spirit also includes the costumes. Most of these duos came with their own unique wardrobe for that episode, and it was just part of what makes such iconic TI memories.
Yeah, believe it or not, most of us did not grow up as theater kids. We just like TI and like Alliance mode. But yeah, I remember for Tennis Boys, which I'm biased, that one's the most iconic to me, just because Nathan and I sat in our confessionals with our tennis rackets. Even in the B-roll, you see us like hitting our command tokens with our tennis rackets onto the board and just silly stuff. The arc of that episode and the arc of the Tennis Boys storyline was Greek levels of tragedy and hubris, to be honest. We took an early lead in that game, which just turned us into these smug tennis douchebags.
What up with you boys? We're the Tennis Boys today.
Tennis Boys.
Feel about your partner starting beef in the first round.
That was 4 planets.
Also, Henry also started beef. He already took a planet from me.
I will confess, today we are the antagonists. We've never been the antagonists ever
I have
before.
never been the antagonist,
Yeah,
and I
Nathan's
go on
never been the
record.
antagonist.
I'm the hero this game needs.
The Tennis Boys, as of now, we are running away with it. I think that's...
We are sipping lemonade at the country club.
Yeah. So it's 14 to 8 to 5.
We're running.
We're running away with it,
sprinting.
which is very weird. I kind of...
I thought we would get so much heat. You know this meta. I guess when we're not sniping at each other.
Yeah, that's true. We're not calling attention to it. We're actually out there being very quiet.
Church mice.
Church mice.
And then we got super dejected after we weren't smooth sailing. Classic TI.
I mean, we're still hosed.
I mean, we're not scoring. We're clawing to every point that's possible. I might get to 14 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of...
You're losing your home system.
I'm
at some
losing my
point.
home system next turn. Nick was thinking about coming for my home system this round.
I don't know why.
He was
didn't.
thinking about...
I honestly don't know why he
slicing me.
didn't. I mean, that would have been.
That would have
for
been
us.
game, yeah.
And then towards the end, we like had a moment of hope and like got super excited again. It was just such a ride, that game.
What a round for the Tennis Boys.
Oh my
Just
God.
when we thought we were out of this game.
Do you think we can stoop any lower?
Oh my God. We still have a solid chance of coming away the victors.
Yeah.
I thought last round, we were out. You saw us. We were in this couch. We were dejected. We were down. We were down in the dumps.
We were pretty burnt out.
We were not smelling what we were stepping.
We've been playing 8D chess.
This has been 8. That round was crazy.
That was some high
That
level
was
strat.
That was a slice.
If you guys are studying war tactics, get your pens and pencils. Time to invest in some legal pads, because we've got your tactics. We got them right here.
I love how you can really mix up the table meta of your friend group and your local group by just like teaming with whoever you've accumulated the most multi-game salt with.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, when you and Nathan teamed, it's funny, we talk about accumulating salt, and it's always, oh, who teamed with Nathan this week? But remember, that was an era where Nathan would often slay you, and then I would just get the win. And then you and Nathan teamed, and somehow Nathan still found a way to slay you.
Nathan does find a good partner in Joe in this upcoming Alliance episode, so stay tuned for that dynamic. And will history repeat itself for Nathan's Alliance partners, or is this the start of a new era for Team Nathan and his teammate?
And speaking of this upcoming episode of TI Junkies, we have a little teaser here for you guys.
Check it out.
It's Alliance Day.
Playing an alliance game as the federations of Titans.
Imperium.
And I'm Nomad.
Cabal and
Hakan. Playing the two friendliest factions Twilight Imperium has to offer, the Mahawked and the Necro.
we have a crazy map. It's called the Cluster Map.
I'm right next to Nate.
I'm definitely gonna be beaten up on the Imperium.
Nate always will like prick you with a little needle every now and then. That's just the way he plays.
Yeah, this was a pretty big needle.
This is gonna happen the rest of the game. He's doing this to you. He's gonna do this to everybody else.
Titans and Soul did get Crown and Tomb.
I had Politics, and we topped Ixthian Artifact.
Hear ye, Ixthian Artifact!
I'm the table menace, and then
And I'm gonna try and
Yeah.
band-aid those
we
relationships.
get some good cop, bad cop situations.
Absolutely. He was getting on our nerves, and we realized we could double activate, and I could steal Saturn Ninja 2 from him, because why not?
This is gonna be one spicy round.
We have to take Mechatol Rex.
If they try to take Mechatol from us, that's why I gotta get my second War Son.
Mechatol.
My second War Son.
People are shocked at what you just did this past round.
I never even saw it coming. This is why the team is here.
An 8-player spicy game. There's going to be a lot of extortion, a lot of salt, a lot of revenge, and a lot of big plays. And the first time we see the cluster map on TI Junkies, which is like 3 mini maps connected by wormholes. Mechatol in the center of the center cluster, and legendaries in the center of the other cluster. It's actually a really, really epic map, and the Junkies had a ton of fun playing on it.
I'm super excited to see that, and hopefully I get to try out a cluster map in a game of my own sometime. So that about does it, guys. That is what we love about Alliance Mode. That's some of the most memorable moments from the TI Junkies history with Alliance Mode. Please join us for next week's podcast, where we're going to do a deeper dive into the rules of Alliance Mode. So actually, please comment, what questions do you have about the Alliance variant, how it works, how different faction abilities interact, and we will answer those questions next week.
Also, if you have any stories from your own Alliance games or weird interactions you've seen on the board, let us know. We love to hear it. We love to share in the spice and the drama.
Yeah, send them in. Don't forget, we got Patreon signups starting next week for the Alliance tournament. We are super excited and hope to see a lot of you junkie regulars out there competing. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Twilight Imperium Junkies podcast.
If you like what we do and want to support the show, check out our Patreon, where amongst other things, you can vote on topics for future episodes.
Keep up with the TI Junkies series by subscribing on YouTube.
Until next time, keep stooging, or maybe don't.
Unless you're my stooge.